So UFC just finished, UFC 313 that is, and let's see how much money I make, because that's why we're here. A fairly depressing card, almost didn't even want to make a video. Whatever then. Djordan, Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. The first fight on the card, and it was a striking fight. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of just peeping in and out for this fight, so I can't really break it down for you, but apparently Ozzy Diaz did alright. Which means I did bad on my predictions, because that's how this thing goes. I do bad on my predictions when the person I don't want to see wins. Anyway, I picked Djordan. Santos lost, whatever. We're going to move on. I want to preface again, this is a very depressing card, just because of the ending. But Mairon Santos versus Francis Marshall. Francis Marshall actually did pretty well on the feet after being completely outclassed. He actually did drop Santos in this fight. Another one of those fights where I was kind of just half watching, but still I'll tell you what I thought of this fight. Good striking on the feet for the most part, mixed in some takedowns, did Francis Marshall. He was actually able to stuff some takedowns in himself. Yeah, in the end they gave the fight to Santos. It looked far closer than whatever they made it seem to be. But yeah, I think Santos probably landed the most strikes overall, so he won the round. Depressing stuff. Anyway, default Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Alex Morono is someone I do like. I'm a fan of Alex Morono, but he does not have the chin for this, in my opinion. I think every time he's been cracked that I've witnessed him fight, he has been cracked, rocked, shocked, and then popped. In all honesty. And Carlos Leal did just that. He was, you know, Morono was doing well at the start of the fight, like strikes here and there, piecing up Carlos Leal and all that stuff, and doing pretty well overall. But I would honestly say, after about halfway point of the first round, like Alex Morono kind of just gassed, and it looked tired, honestly. He kind of looked tired, and Carlos Leal just looked far better. Like, he swarmed him. Morono lost all power with the fact that he got tired. Like, he just lost all power in anything that he had to throw. And the shots were just landing on Leal like they were nothing. And the Morono, you know, throwing shots here and then shots over there and doing all the stuff, all the good stuff. And then eventually, you know, he was landing on the chin of Leal, but it wasn't really like landing. Like, it was landing, but there's just no power behind it. And Leal just warms him, finishes him off, and then just kills him after that. He was just like a little lamb to the slaughter, he was. My pick was Carlos Leal, so he ended up winning, so that's good. We like to see that. Brunno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. Armen, the garbage Petrosyan. I had money on Brunno Ferreira, so I'm not complaining that he's garbage. But the fact that the guy wasn't really mixing in the takedowns, he was mostly striking with Brunno Ferreira, even though Brunno Ferreira was looking really good. In the first round, though, Brunno Ferreira kind of got away with, like, not a massive groin shot from Armen Petrosyan, where, like, you could have realistically fought on, but whatever, you can take your time off. He takes the time off. The ref warns Petrosyan. The fight continues. Petrosyan, this time with a big, just straight up kick down the cock to Brunno Ferreira. And that's enough for the ref to take a point. And I was happy about this because I had money on Brunno Ferreira, don't get me wrong. But Brunno Ferreira, man, like, what do you want me to say? Brunno Ferreira, that gets the job done. Like, he takes the point and Brunno Ferreira wins the round anyway. For some reason, in the live betting odds, it wasn't a completely one-sided to Brunno for some reason. In the second round, I thought Brunno Ferreira was doing far better than Petrosyan on the feet, was landing the bigger shots. Petrosyan was kind of just like running away at points, which is like a bad visual. It was definitely landing the more damaging shots, but for some reason, I had to watch the odds be like, oh, well, actually, it's not that, like, far apart. Petrosyan's actually the favorite, in fact. And then eventually the round comes to an end in the end of the second round. Armen Petrosyan is on the ground. Gets taken to the ground. The wrestler, by the way. Brunno Ferreira is on top. Petrosyan tries to flip him off of him. Gets caught in like a, I believe it was like a head and arm triangle. No, sorry. It was like a triangle choke, but like with extenuating pressure on the arm of Petrosyan. So that was a thing. Yeah, loses. Let's go Brunno Ferreira. Submission no one was really seen coming, but whatever. We got Brunno Ferreira winning. I'm up right now. We continue on to Joshua Van versus Rei Tsuruya. Rei Tsuruya had nothing on the feet for Joshua Van. Joshua Van's wrestling takedown defense was incredibly good. Like, I mean, unbelievably good. Oh, I don't know why my camera just went out. I'm back. Anyway, really good wrestling takedown defense from Joshua Van. stuffed all the takedowns, I believe. Let me check exactly how many he stuffed. He stuffed 17 of the 21 takedowns. That means he got taken down for 4 takedowns, and there was just like a little here and there kind of takedowns. And Rei Tsuruya, you know, whatever. Rei Tsuruya didn't have anything on the feet whatsoever. It was just, I mean, he's throwing here and there, but Joshua Van won every single round comfortably, shut him down completely. And that's the end of the prelims. Not a big card. We had 2 fights cancelled. But the pick was Joshua Van, so he wins. Good for me. We're continuing on with Bobby King. Or should it be King Green? That's my fault, sorry. Versus Mauricio Ruffy. Bobby Green at this stage is just a fun fighter, and he should be matched up with fun fighters. At the age of 38, he's not bringing too much to the table. Paddy Pimblett beat him, I understand. Paddy Pimblett got the victory over him in quite an easy manner. But when we look at that win in hindsight, it's just Bobby Green, man. Like, Paddy Pimblett's a big dude. Bobby Green got beat. Mauricio Ruffy beats him with a spinning like kick from the gods. On all honesty, he fakes a hook, goes spins around, spinning kick to the head of Bobby Green. He's out cold, face plants immediately. And I'm saying this might be the KO of the year. Unless I'm forgetting something major, which I don't think I am. This is probably the KO of the year. It's definitely the most spectacular KO of the year. Great KO. I had money on Ruffy. It was actually a parlay with Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades got pulled out of the fight. It just ended up being a bet on Mauricio Ruffy. But yeah, good stuff from Ruffy. Like, he looked good. The KO was amazing to watch. And yeah, Bobby Green, just fun old fighters for you from now on. Because I'm being honest with you, ever since he changed his name to King, it's been a downward spiral for you, my guy. Like, I know you changed your name to be the cool guy on the block, but I mean, it's just turned out to be absolute dog shit for you. You've been losing in embarrassingly quick fashion as well, so I'm not sure you're going to get matched up with next. I presume someone they want to build a name off of. And yeah, Ruffy, great stuff. And I want to see Mauricio Ruffy fight Beneil Dariush. I think that's a great fight. Beneil Dariush versus this fight. Or maybe Benoit Saint Denis. That's a good fight. It's a striking fight. Benoit does have the wrestling. Or somewhat of a wrestling game, a jiu-jitsu game. So that would be a good test as well. I think either of those fights makes complete sense to me. Yeah, match them up. And by money on Ruffy. So far, you might be thinking, my god, this guy must have won some money today. Nope. Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. At this point, me and my friends, we were watching the fight over Discord. We started naming who was the most famous Alex of all time, who are the top 5 Alexes of all time, who are the top 5 Toms of all time, who are the top 5 Johns of all time, who are the top 5 Georges of all time. Can you guess which ones? Because that's what we had to do, because this fight was absolutely dogshit, crap, boring. Like, it could not have been any more boring than what it was. It went all 3, and I just had to check now. Lemos won because I'd completely forgotten. I think Lemos was using his wrestling a lot. I mean, I think in my video, for some reason, I must have changed to Lucindo, whatever the fuck I did, because this was just an absolute horseshit fight to watch. Terrible, terrible. It's a women's fight, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but the card was already not that spectacular. It wasn't a special card. Like, it was a pay-per-view, but it was just like kind of like a fight night, kind of prelims, if I'm being honest with you. After the fights that got removed. It wasn't too much going for this card. Like, I wasn't invested in any of the fights other than the opener with Bobby King. Or sorry, King Green or whatever the fuck. The loser versus Ruffy. Other than that, this fight was doing all different shades of nothing for me. And the fight was just so boring. Like, I couldn't even recall the moments from this fight. So I'm not going to try to pretend like I can. Lemos won. You tell me if she deserved to win. Because in all honesty, what a fucking terrible fight. And yeah. And these are meant to be 2 of the more higher testosterone leveled women as well. They both have male genetics in them, let's be honest here. They're both, look at them, first of all. Take a second, look at them. And second of all, both lesbians. Didn't throw down at all the wrestling, man. The fucking fight, don't get me wrong. I would hate on a men's fight that went like this as well, but the fact that this fight went this way, like, there was just no stakes. No one cares about these women. No one wants to see them progress in their careers. Like, no one's thinking, oh my god, Amanda Lemos. Wow, I can't wait for her next fight. Like, if she never fights again, no one would ever care. What a terrible, terrible fight to have on a pay-per-view. Put it on the prelims. That's understandable. You'll kill the crowd dead with the prelims. And then put on a different fight on the main card. Why was Curtis Blades on the prelims? So this shit could be on here? I mean, people actually pay. Like, I can't believe I pay for these cards now. I don't know why I still do it. But I'm paying for these cards and I'm getting nothing in return. I'm getting absolutely dogshit boring fights. Boring fights, by the way. Boring. And they're just doing nothing for me. Just all different shades of nothing. And I'm talking about all the colors of the rainbow. but in the colors between black and white. I don't know what I just said. This fight is the thing that happened. Anyway, I had Lemos to pick. I don't know if I changed the last moment in the video. I don't care. And you shouldn't either. She won. Good for me. Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I said in my video that I kind of put money on Jalin Turner because he's the underdog, and that kind of made me greedy. Apparently, Jalin Turner is now retired, as he should be. I mean, the guy took down Ignacio and had no ground game. Like, I mean, nothing there. Like, he just got caught in a triangle. Was clearly doing well, but Ignacio was throwing elbows off of his back. I think Ignacio just wants it more now. The monster Turner that we knew was just gone. Like, the guy that we were scared was going to murder Dan Hooker is gone from this sport. Like, Jalin Turner, we're looking at Jalin Turner here, and if we're being completely honest with each other right now, I mean, what the fuck? Like, what does he have? Like, I know that if he beat Moicano, we'd be saying so much different things about him, but he's so inconsistent. Like, he's so inconsistent, and only degenerates bet on this fight, and I did for some fucking reason. Even though I really, in my heart of hearts, thought Bahamondes was going to win, but whatever. I'll take it on the chin. I got it wrong, guys. I'm sorry for being greedy, a greedy little pig. But yeah, Jalin Turner gets the win, and so Jalin Turner gets the loss, and Ignacio gets him. Catching him with a triangle choke, by the way. At one point, it wasn't deep at all. Turner was completely safe, and then he just shoves his head down in there. Just through the fight. Like, he had no clue what he was doing on the ground. Loses, whatever. I don't care if you say, oh, well, you wouldn't know what to do. I don't care. I don't get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this for a living. Had money on this guy. Lost it for me. Fuck him. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. My first big L of the night, if I'm being honest. Just because I had a video on this out, and people call me brain dead. But whatever, man. Like, the leg kicks didn't end up amounting to anything. It wasn't the leg kicks that won in the fight. It was just a combination and the grit of Justin Gaethje. Like, Rafael Fiziev in this fight looked great in the first round. I thought he was just out-voluming. Gaethje was the more crisper striker, more pop to his shot. Wins the first round clearly. I mean, Justin Gaethje throws a few leg kicks. Honestly, Fiziev moves out of the way. Gets out of there. He's throwing shots like his knees down the middle of Gaethje, like to the body of Justin Gaethje. Doing very well. And then Justin Gaethje comes out in the next little bit of the fight. And then he throws another leg kick. And then this time, Fiziev takes him down. Gaethje eventually gets up, throws another leg kick, is taken down again. At this point, Justin Gaethje is like, well, this leg kick isn't going to work. And then he loses the first round. At one point in the first round, Fiziev literally had somewhat of a reverse triangle choke on Gaethje. It wasn't locked in or anything, but it was enough to keep him down on the ground while he just mounted up and just ripped shots to the body of Gaethje. He clearly won the first round. The second round comes around, and this is the Justin Gaethje show. He overwhelms with combinations, was way quicker on the feet, and is just piecing him up. And at one point, he ducks down his head and does like a fucking, I don't know what it was. He comes around with like a looping uppercut. Ducking and weaving out of there. Looping uppercut. Drops Rafael Fiziev. Drops him. For real, just drops the guy. And after dropping him, he follows up. Nothing big lands. Fiziev survives. And then we get to the last round. And then at the start of the last round, you know, it's 1-1 right now. Clearly, Justin Gaethje seems to be the winner in this fight. Like, he's about to win, like, you know. But then we get to Fiziev in the start of the round. He's got way more popular shot. He's throwing kicks to the body, throwing strikes to the head of Gaethje. He's clearly doing enough to win the round up until, like, the halfway point where Justin Gaethje just completely takes over and Fiziev is gassed at this point. But listen, you can say that he's gassed, but I just, like, he obviously is like, listen, everyone gets tired. But yeah, I think Fiziev was just like, it just seemed slower, man. Like, there was no more threat to him, and that just gave Justin Gaethje all the leeway to throw whatever he wanted. There were some good head kick attempts from Justin Gaethje, like some good head kick attempts from Fiziev as well. He was going to the body a lot, but at one point, Gaethje ducked the head kick and then, you know, fired back a shot of his own. It was like so close, he could have knocked him out, and there's a lot of that. Great fight. I think Gaethje ended up winning though. It was a fun fight. It was probably the fight of the night, I would say, probably in this card. Definitely the best fight. It wasn't the most high volume striking fight, if I'm being honest with you. Let me just look at the strikes. 80. Oh, okay. No, it actually was decent. Like, Justin Gaethje threw 163 strikes. Fiziev threw 134. Significant strike wise, Justin Gaethje landed 72 while Fiziev landed 68. But I think Gaethje did more damage anyway, even if whatever. Gaethje wins. I had money on Fiziev, man. I really thought he could get it done, but just that level below the top of guys in the division, in my opinion. Like, he can beat Dos Anjos. But I just feel like the upper echelon. Like, if Fiziev was to fight Michael Chandler, I'd pick him to beat Michael Chandler. But if he's fighting like a Dustin Poirier or a Max Holloway, yeah, even with Dustin Poirier, I don't know. Sport is aging, but yeah, I don't know. Tough one. Tough one. Anyway, Fiziev was the pick. Got it wrong. Lost money on this one. Then the main event. As you guys... my other one. If this one ended badly for me, I would be ridiculed immensely. Right now, I'm seeing people say, well, actually, this fight was actually quite close, and you can see the argument for Pereira. I'll give Pereira 1 in 5. That's it, though. Round 3, listen. Maybe I'm not looking at some stats right now, because I saw the live thing was like 11 to 22. A fake number they just pulled out there. 14 to 22, sorry. A fake number they pulled out of their ass from nowhere. Unless Pereira was like... Unless shots to the guard of an opponent counts as significant strikes, then sure, he added more significant strikes. If people think that he did more damage to Ankalaev, I'd like to ask how many shots did he land on Ankalaev that weren't straight up to the guard of Ankalaev in round 3. Please explain that to me. I know he's landing the leg kicks. Ankalaev was pushing forward. He was landing the far better shots, I thought, in that round. At some point, you can't just be picking and choosing, well, the total number of strikes, but then for another fight, you're like thinking, oh, more damage. Like, come on, dude. I thought Ankalaev comfortably won the 3rd round, and every single judge gave him the 3rd round because they were watching the fight, and they weren't watching to see the Dagestani guy lose. And don't get me wrong, I was deflated out of my mind. Like, I was just so upset that Pereira lost, because now the Ankalaev era begins, and that's going to be an era of boredom, because he's going to beat everybody, because he's better than everybody, and that sucks. If he beats Yuri Prohaska, I might be on suicide watch, if I'll be completely honest with you. Someone called the suicide fucking watch for me. If he beats Pereira. That would just fucking... just piss me off so incredibly badly. But anyway, like I was saying, the first round is Pereira's round. Nothing significant happens. And I want to say one more thing. Ankalaev did better on the feet than he did wrestling-wise. Let that one sink in. I said in my video that he actually has some good wrestling. Has some good wrestling, guys. And he's got really good striking. I told you how he did against some other fighters. Rakic, who's a kickboxer, beat him on the feet. Some other fighters who kick Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos. No, Junior Dos Santos. What am I doing? Thiago Santos. Volkan Özdemir. Johnny Walker KO'd him. Like, he does just fine on the feet. He's just really technical. He's like an Adesanya style fighter where he's not going to put himself in too much danger, but he's obviously clearly elite, supremely elite on the feet. Good distance management. Good pop to his shot. Just a very great, amazing fighter. And I think this does affect Alex Pereira's legacy, if I'm being honest with you. Like, you can make the argument that Alex Pereira at no point was the best light heavyweight on the planet. You know why? Because they kept not giving Ankalaev the title shots. Meaning, when Ankalaev was beating Rakic, Johnny Walker, those are kind of like title defenses if you think about it. But it wasn't, obviously, but... Yeah, Ankalaev's resume is weaker right now because the guy wasn't allowed to fight Pereira. And that's why his resume is weaker, and he wasn't allowed to fight the top of the top. He did beat Rakic, he did beat... You know, Walker, whatever, Santos, Özdemir. He beat Blachowicz, I don't care what you say. Beat Anthony Smith, when Anthony Smith was kind of good, but overall shit anyway. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, the first round, nothing much lands on either side. Pereira lands more leg kicks, so he wins the first round. I'm perfectly fine with that. I was thinking, well, Ankalaev's not going to be able to walk after this round. So that's fine. The second round, Ankalaev has way more success. Pereira cannot land a single clean strike on the head of Ankalaev. He couldn't in the first round, but Ankalaev couldn't either. But in the second round, Ankalaev starts landing cleanly to the face of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira's still throwing leg kicks, but yeah. But towards the end of the second round is where the big moment happened. He rocks Pereira. Pereira stumbles backwards and Ankalaev goes for him, and the round ends, and then the second round is clearly Ankalaev. The third round is the round where everyone was like, oh, well, you know, Pereira didn't land maybe 1 or 2 strikes. I'll give him 2, 3, 4. Why not 4? Even though I didn't see 4 clean land, let's say they did. That went past the guard of Ankalaev. At what point are we calling significant strikes significant for landing on the arms of these fighters? Let's be honest here. Ankalaev was landing actually to the body of Pereira. He was just kicking him down the middle, making him go all the way back, pushing him all the way back, landing strikes to the head of Pereira. Listen, Pereira was made to look extremely human in this fight. And anyone that's saying that Pereira won the third round based on damage, you're just being biased. He threw some leg kicks. What's the third round? The fourth round comes around. It's just a wrestle fest. It's an extremely boring round. He holds Pereira against the cage. And keep in mind, Pereira in this fight stuffed 12 takedowns. There were 12 takedowns stuffed by Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is not getting taken down. And then after a while, the ref is just like, well, let's break this up from the cage because it's boring. And that makes sense to me. But, you know, Ankalaev was doing stuff, but whatever. I'll play the Joe Rogan card here. He was still kind of going for strikes there, but whatever. the fight continues. Ankalaev's doing just fine on the feet. Goes for another takedown, holds him against the cage. The round ends. You can't even make an argument for Pereira in this round. It was just the Ankalaev. There was not much damage, but there was no damage from Pereira either. The 5th round comes around, and now Ankalaev slowed down. He's being much more hesitant, not being nearly as proactive in his approach to win a fight. Pereira is landing strikes here and there, a jab, 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 and all that good stuff that we are used to seeing. Some big pop to his shots. He was landing through a head kick, lands on the guard of Ankalaev, a little bit of it gets through, which makes Ankalaev takes a step back. I'm perfectly fine with Pereira winning the 5th round. Overall in damage, he probably did win. Ankalaev shot a takedown, couldn't get Pereira down whatsoever. They reset. Pereira was a bit hesitant as well by now. But yeah, Ankalaev didn't throw much. I mean, he did throw here and there, but it was still, I'll say this now. You can make a better argument for Ankalaev winning the 5th round, in my opinion, from just watching the fight, than you can for Pereira to win the 5th round, in my opinion, to win the round. Ankalaev wins the fight. And no one wants to see it. Dana White is losing even more hair than he already doesn't have. But it's just the truth and the reality of the matter. Ankalaev is your light heavyweight champion. We'll get a rematch. But after that, I mean, get ready for your favorite fighters to be fucking grinded to the ground, in all honesty. And that's the entire video. I don't know what else to say. Like, share, and subscribe. Actually, no, I'll show you how much money I made first. Oh, I had money on Magomed, if you couldn't tell. I wasn't being biased. I'm just being honest. Overall, event profit, $62.50. Overall profit since UFC France of last year, $2,682.46. I'm putting a lot of bets on these cards that I don't want to put on. Like Jalin Turner was just purely because he's an underdog. I really thought Bahamondes would win, but whatever. I'll do better next time. But that was the entire card. $62.50 in profit. Not bad, but I really want to get to like $10,000 or something by the end of the year. That's very ambitious, but I want to get to 300 at least before the next pay-per-view. We've got a few cards coming up which could help us with that goal, but we'll see. Anyway, that was the entire card reviewed and broken down. 249 subscribers. Get me one more subscriber for more videos and content like this, more betting predictions. If you want to follow along and see how much money I can make at the end of this entire treacherous journey that is YouTube, follow along. But we'll see. I'll see you guys next time, though. Bye.